What's up everyone, Big Hush here, and I want to show you how to make this NECA Friday the 13th Part 3 mask look a lot more accurate to the movie than it is right now. Now you've seen these at Spirit Halloween, you've probably seen them on Amazon and maybe some other places online, and it claims to be a replica of the Friday the 13th Part 3 film mask, but anyone who's seen that movie more than a couple times, like me, knows that there's some inaccuracies that need to be corrected to make this right, especially for $45. I mean, this is a pricey mask, but it's good quality, it's a thick resin mask. It's a really fun mask to work on. It's a fun material to work with. Now normally in years past, if you've watched any of my videos or if you've seen my channel, you might know that I usually work on this mask from Spirit Halloween, which is a different material. It's just plastic, thin plastic. So it's always fun to give this one a makeover, but I wanted to switch things up this year. Also, do yourselves a favor and watch this entire video because there's something very, very special towards the end of it that you're going to want to be a part of, I think. All right, let's tear this open and get to work on this mask. Here's what the mask looks like. It's got this weird splotchy gray dirt or damage, and here's what the mask looks like in the movie. As you can see, it's a different color, and the damage needs to look a lot different. Now the first thing we're using is sandpaper, and I recommend 120 grit or higher, just so you have something that'll take the paint off but not tear up the mask. Some of you have told me how fragile these resin masks are, and I finally found out myself because I cracked the mask just by sanding it. I guess I put too much pressure on it. Now normally when I'm making a Part 3 or Part 4 mask, I go to Lowe's or Walmart and I get Krylon Meringue because it's a nice faded yellow, but they didn't have that, so I'm getting Rust-Oleum Summer Squash. It's a little deeper yellow than I want, but I think it'll work. In previous videos, I always preach about doing primer first, but we're working with cans that are paint plus primer, so it's really not necessary, totally optional if you want to do a primer layer. As you can see here, meringue is the one that I usually use, and it's much more faded yellow, which I like. It's more subtle. The Summer Squash is a lot deeper, and it's a lot more yellow than I would normally go for, but just in case you can't get meringue either, that's why I'm going with Summer Squash. The look that we're trying to achieve is a white mask that has been yellowed by the sun, so whichever option you have between these two will probably be fine. Stupid crack. These vinyl chevron decals are available in my Etsy shop. I would love it if you get them from me. Otherwise you can just make your own, or you can paint these on if you so choose. Use sandpaper to start your damage if you want. I would recommend 80 grit or something lower. That will really tear up the paint. It's a really effective way to create some damage with some good scratching. The other tool I love to use for damage is a knife. Now, you want something really sharp, not this, of course, but any other knife you have available in the house, a pocket knife, a kitchen knife. I prefer a hobby knife, specifically X-Acto knife. This is fantastic for adding scratches and damage and scraping off paint wherever you want to. One thing I think looks really good is to scrape the edges with some sandpaper. I'm not doing this around the entire mask, but in several places I had this effect. intend to make more than one mask, if you plan to turn this into a hobby, I cannot recommend Dremel enough. Get yourself a Dremel tool. It's going to make creating damage so much easier, and also the Dremel Versa is going to help you sand masks. A couple viewers turned me onto this and I absolutely love it. Get yourself a Versa and get yourself a few of these rough scrub pads, and it's going to make sanding so much easier for you. Now, assuming you have a Dremel and a sanding bit, you can create some pretty good effects and texture. Here I'm setting the Dremel to low, and I'm just going to kind of stutter it and skip it across the paint, and you can see it creates some nice little scratching. The trick with the damage and the texturing and stuff is to mix it up a lot. You don't want it all looking exactly the same. So here I'm using the sanding bit just to go around the mask and make some deep cuts. Again, this is just assuming you have a Dremel. You do not have to have a Dremel. You can use a knife or whatever sharp tool you have and still create some great damage with it. Technically, this crack is real damage on the mask, but I want to make it look a lot more interesting. So I'm going to use my knife to enhance this a little bit and make it look more intentional. Alright, several viewers over the years have told me that I need to try layering my clear coats between all of my layers of paint, so that's what I'm trying here. I'm doing 2 coats of lacquer before I add any dirt to the mask. Now you can stop here if you want. The mask is dirty in the movie, but even if you didn't add a bunch of dirt, the mask already looks a lot better. I use these super cheap rags that I get from the dollar store. You could also use paper towels if that's all you have lying around. I love getting these rags. They sell them by stacks of 3 or 5 or whatever it is. I'm starting with some gray for the first layer of dirt. I'm not going to go heavy with it, but I'm going to make sure there's some of it all around the mask. I highly recommend you add some damage after dirt. It doesn't have to be heavy. Here I'm just going to do some light scratching and scraping. It's going to make things look a lot more realistic if the dirt itself has scratches and damage through it, so it looks like it's been on there a while. Here I made the rag damp to begin with, that way I can spread the paint around a lot better on the mask and give it a different look than the first layer of dirt. Other than that, it's a whole lot of patting and slapping and pushing and smushing all this dirt around the mask, trying to make it look as real as possible. Alright, I should specify what kind of clear coat I've been using. I use lacquer, but if you want something that's not shiny, if you don't want a shiny mask, use a matte finish. That'll make sure it's not too shiny. If you do want a shiny mask, if you love shine like me, use something that's gloss, or in my case, I'm using lacquer, and I find that lacquer gives you a high shine in less coats, so that's why I like it. It gets to the point a lot quicker, but those are your options. If you don't want any of it, then don't use any of it. Now lastly, if you didn't cover these top 3 snaps through this entire process, you're going to have paint and clear coat and stuff built up on them. What you want to do is scrape off this paint off of these snaps, and that'll ensure that your straps snap on easily. Alright my friends, we successfully went from this mask to this mask, which while this isn't precise to the one in the movie, it's a lot more accurate than this one is. Now something else, a lot of you always ask how long does the process actually take in real time, and I never really keep a clock, but this time I tried to pay close attention to it, and you'd be surprised to learn that all of this only took 1 hour, maybe a little less, of actual hands-on work. The rest of it was just waiting for paint to dry and sipping Mountain Dew. The main time suck is sanding the mask. It's the part that I hate the most, but that took probably 20 minutes. The base coat of spray paint takes 2 minutes to paint a couple coats of that on. Same with the clear coats. That's probably 5 minutes total, since I was doing 2 coats of clear between each layer and then one final layer of 2 coats. Then really the only major time consuming points are when you're adding damage and when you're adding dirt, because that's entirely up to you. You can go as detailed and take as much time as you want to make it look really good and really real, or you can do it quickly and knock it out in 5 minutes. You can get as detailed as you want with this if you really want to make it look exactly like the movie. I was not going for that. I have some damage in some very similar areas to some of the screenshots that I found online of the mask from the film, but otherwise I was not trying to match every scratch and every detail. I don't enjoy doing that, but I know I've seen several mask makers out there who do that, and it's incredible. Alright, so that's it. Go give your mask a makeover. Have fun doing it. Enjoy the process. If you like this video, if you found it helpful at all, if it was just a little bit entertaining to you, please like and subscribe, and maybe even share this thing. I would really appreciate it. Alright, if you're still here and you're still watching this video, then I know you're one of the real fans. I know you're probably a real mask maker, and you probably want to do what you just saw done in this video, which is fantastic. It's the whole reason I make these things. So, I've got 3 masks here that I'm going to give away absolutely free. $45 value each and every single one of them. All you have to do is drop a comment in the comments section that says wrong NECA the woods. As in, if you see this mask coming at you, you're probably in the wrong neck of the woods. In 2 weeks from the date of this video, I will draw winners, and I will send these 3 masks out to get full makeovers done by you instead of me. Alright, that's it. Good luck, drop a comment, and as always, I hope everything is great in your world. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.